I landed in Kangerlussuaq on the 3rd of June. Our guide Jens Pavia met us at the airport before catching a lift through the settlement to collect the expedition supplies. In addition to our personal items, we would be carrying food and tents between us. This is Ulu, our second guide, a fantastically cheery Greenlander full of stories. Within a couple of hours of landing, we were ready to start our adventure into the Arctic wilderness. At the end of day one, and I'm so tired. We walked about 6 kilometres and have ended up at this beautiful camping ground. And I'm actually on my way to the toilet. So Jens Pavia has marked out the toilet for us using bones. Left a trail of bones from camp so we can find it. On the tundra, bones are bleached under the blistering sun, making clear markers. I can imagine the Paleo-Eskimos who first came to Greenland around 5,000 years ago might have used the same technique. The relationship between humans and this landscape is one forged by the pursuit of large mammals. This photo showing human figures behind a musk ox, which wasn't hunted but actually left where it succumbed to the winter, is an ancient one. Still today, the musk ox is an important food for Arctic communities. Last night we had musk oxen. I can't even begin to describe the taste, it was just so delicious. It was small pieces, like small pieces of steak, but just so tasty and so tender, and it was cooked on a flat stone, and it was one that Jens Pavia had hunted himself. So it was really special to kind of eat that and sit in the landscape and see, we've seen musk oxen along the whole trail, so it was really special to kind of eat something that's straight from the environment and you could taste the environment in it. It was just, Not only is it tasty, the meat is an excellent source of protein, vitamin B and iron, and with controlled hunting is very sustainable. To top that off, the fat contains heaps of vitamin D, a nutrient that Arctic communities find hard to come by in the long dark winter night. Our first sleep on the tundra was freezing, reminding us that despite the bluebird sky and brilliant sunshine, we were in fact in the Arctic Circle. After breakfast, we took down camp, and I got my first opportunity to scan across the terrain with the binoculars. It's a sparse expanse, but often a brown smudge shifts and reveals itself to be a muskox. Caribou were a bit easier, being pale against the background of brown earthy tones. As we walked, binocular views of distant wildlife soon turned into encounters like this. It was great to see so many caribou as we walked, not only adults but calves too. Historically, the Greenlandic population has fluctuated massively, with boom and bust cycles where numbers rise and fall. This species spends most of its time feeding on lichen and grasses, which cling onto the rubble and dust of the tundra. Because of the harsh Arctic conditions, these plants take a long time to grow. When the caribou populations grow too large, they deplete the available food source, and as a result, populations crash. Following a crash, the plants have time to grow back, and a few years later, the caribou population is on the up once again. It was encouraging to see so many animals in this region. The trend for Greenland is an ongoing decline as seasonal mismatches between calving and peak vegetation growth cause nutritional deficiencies, affecting the survival of newborn calves. Fingers crossed that the Kangerlussuaq caribou continue to thrive. Our path through the tundra followed trails made by the wildlife, saving the effort of lifting our own feet over the low vegetation. As ever, hours of one foot in front of the other took us past more caribou and eventually led us to yet another beautiful camp. After a couple of days, Ulu and I were good at getting the accommodation built. In fact, we would time the process and try to beat it the next night, and occasionally we remembered to grab a photo that we planned to take at every campsite. I think this one is from the first or second night. With our tents up, we could then spend the rest of the evening like this. I know it's poorly framed, but I love this shot. The only people for miles around our little community shared great conversation every night, sitting in a small circle around the pot with our plastic bowls. Our days mostly ended with a hot chocolate to warm from the inside, and then it was into the red tent for bed. Getting in bed is such a mission. Silk liner, sleeping bag. Inside my sleeping bag I have tomorrow's clothes and my coat, hat, gloves, just in case. I've got mum's jumper that she made me, which is so warm, 2 merino layers, then my merino leggings, 2 pairs of socks. And I'm boiling now, but I know I'm going to be cold tonight. I did end up taking a layer or 2 off. With each new day came a different perspective of the landscape we walked along. Wow, that's amazing. From the tops of hills we could see for miles, endless rock and ice lakes. Even through the binoculars there was no edge, no sign of human life. The landscape was even devoid of sound. That's day 3 done. It was a long old hike today, but this is the campsite for tonight. This river goes all the way along up there, and there's a lake, a frozen lake that's one of 4 lakes that contain meltwater from the ice sheet that's just over the valley. We've had the most amazing walk today. Seen some really cool landscapes, tons of caribou and calves, tons of musk oxen. We had musk ox for dinner again tonight and it was luscious. And now I'm going to go to bed because I'm extremely tired. I'm ready for some more walking tomorrow. I think I'm going to need a good sleep, so that's day 3. The river by camp was a stunning turquoise colour, an exciting indicator that we were close to the ice. The water is made milky blue by a fine silt known as glacial flour. The particles are suspended in the flowing water, scattering and reflecting blue and green light. The glacial flour is created by the ice sheet that exerts phenomenal pressure on the rock below and grinds it as the ice moves. The water was a little unpleasant to drink compared to the permafrost meltwater in the hills, but it was quite cool to top up the camelback with meltwater straight from the ice sheet. It's the start of our third day of walking. I think it's Sunday. Oh, nice musk ox this morning, first one of the day. That's why it's really important to make noise when we're walking, because they, like, our toilet is in this scrubby area and the musk ox are sometimes just chilling in there, and if you make them jump, that's when they can charge. They're quite docile, but obviously if you scare them, that's when they go for you. I'm at the toilet now, there's a big poo in that one, so I won't show you that. This campsite has been amazing. I think today we are walking to the iceberg lake where we're going to spend 2 days, which will be really nice because we'll get the tent set up and then be there for a couple of days and not have to carry our big bags all day. We've also ditched some food here so that we don't have to carry all of our food with us all the time, because we're coming back to this campsite on the way back. So I am feeling a bit sore now though, but I really need a wee. So
shortly after filming this clip, I discovered why my legs were so sore. I have never suffered from chafe before. It's a rookie hiker's nemesis. Repetitive motion, dry conditions, and the lack of any body moisturiser meant I just had to deal with it. And yes, that is dry skin covering my leggings. The following day started with a bracing river crossing, proceeded as usual, but ended a little differently.
Another long day walking, but we're finally at the ice sheet. When we got here, we all just stood and stared at it. And we were actually coming down to have a look because the toilet is just here. Talk about poo with a view. It is amazing. I'm kind of secretly hoping that it calves or that something happens so we can hear the sound, because Jens Parfia was just telling us that the sound of the ice when it breaks is apparently just unreal. So yeah, hoping that happens, but do you know what? I'll just take that. That's amazing.
Tired but feeling extremely satisfied, we enjoyed dinner and then retired to the red tents. I reloaded the Olympus, ready for our walk to the ice the following day. This video is getting long, so I'll stop here. In the final part, I'll share the footage of the walk up to and onto the ice. In the meantime, I'd like to thank Zeiss for loaning me a pair of their brilliant Victory pocket binoculars. I did a review of them, so please do check that out on my channel, and I will post the final video very soon.